Hello, everybody.
Hi, how y'all doing? I'm Tony.
I'm Guy, and this is The Manly Way.
The Manly Way. You're tuned in today.
Hold on.
We're going to start some... What are we starting today? We had a cool little topic that he used.
Yeah, it's kind of fuzzy, so I'm going to fix the camera just for a second. Sorry about that, everybody.
Oh, that's a little better.
Oh, that's clear.
Oh, that's scary now.
I know. You don't want to see us
no,
that
I don't.
clear.
No, I like the fuzzy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll spit on it.
There we go.
Okay. So, hi, everybody. It's
There.
us again.
He's so happy.
I'm so happy. Actually, I've been kind of grumpy today, so I'm putting on a smiley face.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we have a topic for today. I saw something on Facebook and I wanted to talk about it. So it's nothing bad and it's nothing grumpy. So I saw a saying on Facebook and I wrote it down. So the saying is, being a male is a matter of birth. And please don't write in and talk to us about that. It's just being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. But being a gentleman is a choice. Okay, so being a gentleman is a choice. And so it got me to thinking, really nowadays...
Is that what, so you can do that, right?
What?
You can think. Okay.
Well,
good. See,
okay, on some...
both of us have to get jarred sometimes
I
to
know.
do that.
On some good days I can
Yes.
think. Yes.
Yes, and he's motivated today, so...
So I was thinking on the way to work, what does it really mean to be a gentleman nowadays? In 2019? 2019, what does it mean to be a gentleman? And because it sure doesn't mean the same thing as it did when it was 1920s or 1950s. It's different. So really, what is it? So Tony,
what you just put there, right? It's like, so I don't know. I think culture today looks at everything a little bit different. I mean, I know things were different when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And, gentleman it encompassed so many different things.
Yeah.
And because everyone really was kind of focusing on being a man, but at the same time, gentleman, what does that look like? That's, there's so many aspects to it. And I don't think we're just going to touch base on it.
Because actually, you can say there's a gentleman's club, and it can mean a whole lot different thing than...
Well, actually, when he first brought that topic in today, I was like, what are you talking about? What are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah.
Actual being a gentleman. Yes.
Yeah, because we have... In Montana, we have a thing called a gentleman's club, and it's actually a strip club.
Yes.
And I can guarantee you, if you're a gentleman, you don't go to a strip club.
No, you won't be going to those.
No. So let's just wipe that out.
Okay.
If you're a true gentleman, you don't go to a strip club.
You don't go to those. Exactly.
So let's go some basics.
All right.
That we still believe in.
All right.
If you're a gentleman, you open a door for a woman.
Yes.
And if she doesn't want you to, you just apologize.
Yeah.
But other than some really some women who really are offended by that,
majority love it.
Yes.
And it's kind of a lost thing. I don't see it much anymore.
Yeah.
When I do see it, I want to almost just go up and say, dude, you're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
Yeah. And even going to the car and opening the door and helping them in before you get in.
Yeah.
It's, again, a lost art.
Yep. If you see, there's so many things. Like if you see somebody, a lady that's going to pick up something heavy, help her pick it up. If you're out on a rainy day and there's an umbrella handy and you're using it, but she doesn't, share that umbrella. There's all sorts of things.
So we're in Montana and we don't have mass transit, but this is huge when I lived in a city.
What's that?
Dudes not giving up their seat for
a lady. You're right.
Or elderly people.
Right.
So being a gentleman doesn't just mean toward a woman.
No.
It just means toward other people. Because you can be a gentleman. I can be a gentleman toward you.
Still waiting to see that come out. But he will. I know he will. Now we're talking about it. Okay. I'm going to bring it. I want you all to write in and ask me, has Guy been a gentleman today?
I'm always a gentleman toward you. I rarely...
He is. He's quite the gentleman.
Okay. So, anyhow, even how you act in traffic I mean, there's a gentlemanly way to drive, and then there's a very selfish way to drive.
Yep.
So what's again, well, I just said it, the opposite of being a gentleman is kind of being selfish.
Yeah.
And just wanting your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I even taught my son, now this is back, this goes way back, but I have the practice of when I'm walking down the street with my significant other, not Tony, but with a woman, my mom or my sister or anybody,
Mm-hmm.
I walk on the outside. I walk on the street side of the street, of the sidewalk, because back in the old days,
Right.
when a horse would get out of mud, and when a horse would get out of control, then you could kind of take care of it. Now I still believe that it's still in practice. If there's a car that gets out of control or something like that, you can deflect a little bit of that, and it's just protective.
Yeah.
Whether or not,
I'm just thinking if a car gets out of control.
Okay.
I think
whether or not
it's going to get both of you, but at least you'll have the thought process before they smash you.
all right,
Okay.
let me go with this.
All right,
okay?
I'll let you go with this one. All right.
So at least I could push her really hard.
Maybe that's it.
Okay.
It may not look like a gentleman, but it really is.
Yes.
Yes. So when you get flattened by the car, at least she's safe.
Yes.
Yes.
She just hit the
Yeah.
storefront, and you got splat.
And you got flat. Okay, I got it. That's an analogy of some sort. I like it.
So
There's something there. I like it.
Okay, so maybe that's not great, but I still walk on the outside of
Yes.
the street just for protection.
And a lot of times, sometimes, and I know what I've done with my daughters is too, is there's certain places in the flow of traffic that with walking traffic that one side or one area always you're getting bumped much more than
Yeah.
others, and always take that. Sometimes it depends on the traffic. People have a different flow each day, but so there's something like that, and I know with my daughters, I have two, so which is good because they learned a lot from me that they want to expect
Yeah.
from their future husbands.
Yeah. And that's really where we're going with the manly way, because again, the manly way is not a manly man way of doing things. It's just a manly way of taking care of your family or taking care of people.
Absolutely.
And I think really a lot of it is setting the expectation that you're living what your daughter wants. Your daughter or your son emulates you,
Mm-hmm.
or your daughter wants to marry somebody like you.
Right.
And if you're not doing things correctly, your daughter's going to have a skewed way of
Mhm.
looking at things.
Sure.
And so, she's either going to say, well, I don't want to marry a man like my dad, or I want to be just as far away from that as possible.
Mhm.
And then she ends up, it's hard for her to make decisions.
Right.
My daughter has said several times, and thank goodness this is the truth. She said, I'm not ready to date yet because I can't find anybody that acts like you, Dad.
Mhm.
And she doesn't mean as immature and weird as I am, because of course you can find kids like that, especially in ninth grade.
Right.
But just
So many things. Just even around the house, like just if my wife has made dinner and I just do the dishes. I mean, it shouldn't even be asked, or I pick up the dishes and put them in the sink. Just simple little things that extend that extra effort to make something easier for somebody else.
Yes. Yeah. Especially in public, doing things for people, even a stranger.
Yeah.
Just doing things for people because you see it needs to be done, and being not holding back, but being the person to if somebody drops something or somebody needs something carried.
Sure.
Sometimes there's elderly people that need their groceries, help with their groceries outside a grocery store. I mean, you definitely want to ask them first. You don't want to just go over and start grabbing their groceries.
And I have that story because I have a friend of ours. It's because we're in Montana. And Montana, even the girls, the women are very independent.
Yeah.
And so I remember one time there was a family that moved here, and their dad, they had three sons, and he taught them very well about, you know, carrying things for women, and just really being there to be a source of help. Anyways, I remember this fairly good sized box. A real good friend of ours, she actually works on a ranch and stuff. She's carrying this box into the building, and he sees that, so he runs out there and was going to grab the box from her and say, "I'll take it in for you." And she pulls back like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, and he pulls, and she goes, "Let go of it." And he goes, "No, please, will you let me take it? Because if my dad sees you carrying that in without me carrying it in, I'll get in trouble." And so she's kind of like, "Okay, whatever, here you go." But that's not all. That's not the usual case. And I laughed so hard at this young man, but he had to carry the box. But it was a cool thing that he really wanted to. He really wanted to help.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that was just kind of a unique situation. But most of the United States that I've traveled in, it's just it's a good. You know what? You mentioned something that I want to add. This is that, you know, there's a lot of yuck going on up there right now. A lot of just, it's sad. And to see somebody extending a hand and helping, people are watching all the time. And you know what? That gives people confidence that there's still good people in the world. And you know what? There's a lot of good people.
Yeah, there are. I mean, sometimes you have to mine for the gold.
Yeah.
But there are.
Yeah,
and
not picking your nose, but we're talking about helping.
Mining for gold. Yeah. Well, no, but
You're killing me, man.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you still got to.
Yeah, and you know, I think that it's just sometimes it's a lost art that dudes just aren't remembering to be gentlemen.
Yeah.
And
not that they, and you know what I think what you're saying there is, I think there's a lot of young men that would, but they've just never been taught. They don't know.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing when you go and you help and you extend that help, or that extended that hand, that you're there's actually the satisfaction you get from that.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, it makes you feel like $1 million.
Yeah, it's true. And you know, I mean, there's lots of stories we can tell, but you know, it's not really it's not about what we do. It's about what I've seen other people do some really cool things. I watched a young man. There was some older people in line at Walmart, and they were right behind him, and he handed the cashier $50 and said, take care of them. And the guy had an old World War II hat on, and you don't see a whole lot of World War II vets anymore.
No.
And he said, I'll just take care of them. And it warms my heart when I hear that, because you don't see that very often. No. And it's a cool thing. It's and just giving to other people, even in small ways, helping somebody. I know it's an old cliche, helping somebody across the street, but some people actually need it.
Absolutely.
And simple things that just takes you maybe 30 seconds, but means a huge amount to somebody else.
Right.
But
and like, really, for me today, that I would want everyone out there, all you guys, to really just start looking for opportunity, because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, just we only probably take advantage of just a little bit of it, but there's a lot of opportunity.
And I think some of it is that you just get out of your own head a little bit and just look around.
Yep, that's the biggest thing. Get out of your own head. And you know, remember when we were talking about a while back, just stopping and thinking? Sometimes it's just stopping and looking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And just putting away the cell phone for 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
And looking around you. You know, we haven't talked about any personal safety or anything like that. You know, that's a totally different subject. But when you talk about personal safety, you always talk about situational awareness and seeing who's around you, what's going on. And I actually listened to a podcast, from a guy that was a special forces guy, and he's like, man, kids nowadays, they have no situational awareness because everybody's doing this.
Right.
And you could have something going on right around you and you wouldn't even know.
Okay.
Well, it's the same thing with helping people. If you're always looking down and doing this, you could miss that somebody actually needs help, or
Right.
or somebody needs a door opened or something like that. And so I recommend that you just kind of open your eyes, look around, and see who else needs something.
Yeah.
That's really what being a gentleman is just looking for opportunities to help other people.
And I like what you said earlier. It's just to take the focus off self
Yeah,
and how you can help others.
yeah,
Yeah, just be there and to always be conscious of a way to make things easier for someone else.
yeah, yeah. Because I don't think being a gentleman always has to be toward a female.
No.
You know, I really don't. I think
Yeah.
just being a gentleman is just being a gentleman.
A gentleman.
Just being a good person.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think in 2019, I think we have to look at it just a little bit differently. And I think you're right on, Tony. I really think that having it be not being looking at self is,
Yeah.
boy, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I don't even know what to say after that. You're so good
Yeah.
that I can't even talk.
Notice how he was such a gentleman. He give the gratitude towards me, but he's the one to come up with it. What a guy!
Whatever.
What a gentleman!
Man, it's getting deep in
Yeah,
here.
I know it. I'm so glad these seats are leather.
Save the watches.
That's right.
Oh.
All right. Well, that was a good. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, there's so much more, but
Yeah, we could go different places with it, but
Right.
really, I think just starting with that.
Yep. Just a general awareness.
Yeah.
To start looking at ways that you can, again, help others to essentially just take your self focus away
Yeah,
and put the focus on others, and just
Yeah.
really start looking and be aware. Like you said, be aware of your surroundings.
and again, we're always, everything we're talking about, we always talk about in increments
Yes.
and small steps.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't change in big, steps. We always just maybe once a day,
Yeah.
two times a day, just look for something
Sure.
that you can do, and just look around, see what you can do. Open the door for somebody.
Yeah.
Just do something nice for somebody
And even
else.
something as simple as like when I'm going to the store and I'm parking and going in, and there's somebody is going to have to wheel a cart all the way back in. Say, I'll take the cart in for you, so you can.
Yeah,
You can just get in.
and that's huge for
That's
some
just
people.
simple.
It's huge for some people.
Mhm.
Though, I mean, they're like, "Are you sure?"
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Yeah.
And it really helps. But
Just go
I
in the
like
grocery
that
store.
one.
Yeah.
I like that. Or not taking the. I know this is hard for some people, but not taking the ideal parking spot.
Right.
Actually, parking a little further back and allowing other people to
Yeah.
have better
I
parking
learned that.
spots.
I learned that a long time ago. I always park towards the back of the parking lot because I don't mind walking. And if and then here's another one. I always drop my wife and my daughters off by the door, and then I'll go park
Yeah.
and walk in.
Yeah.
Just another little tiny thing, and that
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. It could be just with a friend, whoever it is. But just little things. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Just park for the back. Leave those other spots open. It isn't going to hurt to walk.
You know, it was so hard for me when I was sick,
Uh-huh.
or I guess sick, when I had my stroke and I was not, I couldn't walk very well. Being the one that had to be let off, or it was really hard for me to
I bet.
be waited on or
Yeah.
be taken care of, because I was like, no, that's my job.
my job.
I'm supposed to do that.
Right.
And there was a long time. There was like months where I couldn't even drive. They wouldn't even. I
Wow.
mean, well, okay, my eyes were crossed, and my left side wouldn't work correctly, so
Yeah.
my left eye was, and so
Oh.
of course, I
That'd be so hard.
shouldn't be driving, but yeah, they had to drive me everywhere. They
Yeah.
had to take care of me, and so I wasn't being able to help. I wasn't being able to be the caretaker. I was like, oh man, this sucks.
Right.
Yeah, because I was used to doing it. So, if you're not used to doing it, get used to doing it.
Right.
Because that's really, that's
is.
the manly way.
Yep.
The manly way is not being selfish and taking care of your family.
Absolutely.
Taking care of people around you. It doesn't even
around
have to
you.
be your family. You
Right.
don't even have to know the person.
No.
You just,
It's a great habit to establish.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
It
People really will. They'll love to see that. You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
some will, because of some of the movements, there'll be some resistance to it. But you know what? You can still be a gentleman, say, you know, and still offer.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there's a rejection, but even just offering
And
sometimes. that
don't
will
do
go
what
a long
Tony
way.
does and throw him on the ground and make him do it anyhow. Called in the middle of our live stream.
Yes.
So,
So you probably need to get going on that one then, just in
Uh,
case.
yeah. Well, yeah. With my daughter calling, who knows what's wrong.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
anyhow.
That's all right. I think we covered most of it.
Yeah,
So,
we just called.
so the challenge is
Or my ex-wife.
look today. Today, go out there in this week and see if you can find a way where you can be selfless and help others.
Yes. And thanks for
There we go.
thanks for
We want to get that in real quick.
staying tuned through
Yep.
all of our technical
Yep, I'm
difficulties.
Tony.
I'm Guy.
Manly Way. See you tomorrow.
See ya. Bye.